Welcome into another fun edition of Off the Leash. I'm Ashley Holder. That's Leah Doherty and OBR's Fred Greetham. Mark Schwab is not in, but he is always with us. All right, so we had an exciting one today, man. The Browns taking down the Raiders 24-10. They told me he bust down my AP. Perfect timing. Yeah, wow. You know Shedeur Sanders was perfect timing today. Ladies and gentlemen, 11 of 20, 209 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, only sacked 1 time. If you ask me, I think this was a pretty decent showing. I mean, what can you ask for? Did pretty good against a terrible Raiders team. Don't get me wrong. Terrible team.
But we saw him a couple of weeks ago, the Browns played a terrible team that was trying to lose to the Jets, and they got beat. Today, they went out on the road, snapped a 13-game losing streak on the road. First time a rookie quarterback. You got to give him props. He did what he had to do. He didn't play a perfect game, but I like seeing the ball thrown down the field. I mean, we hadn't seen that before.
Can you believe it?
We had some excitement that pass to Isaiah Bond. That was the longest reception that the Browns have had all season, which the second we saw, we were like, that has to be the longest that they've had, because I don't ever remember a time this season.
66 and 52.
That it's been that exciting. And so this was the most anticipated game between 2-2-8 teams and a 5th-round pick, I think, probably ever in NFL history. And the fact that Browns quarterbacks were 0 for 17 when making their first career start, and Shedeur was the guy to do it. And he came in with a lot of confidence and went and executed. And no, it wasn't perfect. And yes, they played a terrible team. And my goodness, the defense helped them a ton by how dominant they were. But I think this is all you can ask for, to go in and execute. They got so many different rookies involved, which is exciting too, along with Shedeur, and they came out with a win. All the other stuff, there's stuff they got to clean up and XYZ. All that matters is that you get a win. At the end of the day, that's what they did.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I mean, as far as, it wanted to be all about Shedeur, but when the defense did what they did, I don't care how bad the offensive line is for the Raiders or whatever. 10 sacks. They were 1 sack away from setting a franchise record, which hadn't been done since 1994. November 1994. I mean, think about that. Some of you might not have been around.
We weren't.
That was 31 years ago. And, they could have really had 11 or 12, because there was a couple that he got rid of it just as he was going down. And so kudos to them. And, if you notice in the first half, they had 5 sacks from like 7 different guys, and one of them wasn't Myles Garrett. He got 3 in the second half. So you had 8 different guys come up with 10 sacks. So, I mean, I think that shows the inside. Mason Graham, Malik Collins, Shelby Harris, Michael, all those guys are making a huge difference for Myles out there. They used to try to just get the defensive end. It's the inside, and the quarterback runs out right into the arms of one of the edges, and it's usually Myles Garrett.
I think one thing that was really cool to see, even though it came towards the end of the game, was watching Dylan Sampson pick up 66 yards and get a touchdown. I think when you look at this rookie class, one thing you cannot deny is what Andrew Berry has been able to accomplish with this rookie class. They look magnificent. They are very, very good. And like you were saying, they tried to lose that game against the Jets. They did lose that game against the Jets. But I also thought that this Raiders team was so incredibly bad on the offensive side of the ball. I thought that the Browns had a bad offense. Boy, I tell you, that was a terrible offense. I mean, when you look at all the options, the chances that they got, even when you saw that there was a pick, getting things
Don't
like that.
Don't forget the Judy drop.
They were Jerry Judy. Please. I got to stay on track, because we're gonna get to that. But it's just the fact of just how crazy that this offense was not able to convert barely any points off of that. I mean, just essentially like 3 points off of that. That's all they were able to do with those turnovers. It was incredible. And I also thought that, man, again, they told me bust down my AP. Perfect time. I feel like it's perfect timing. It's perfect timing that he was able to start this specific game, right? Because would we be saying this about Shedeur and what he was able to do? Granted, it wasn't A++, right? He's a rookie. He's got a lot of things to work on. But what are we saying is if he went up played 4 quarters against the Ravens, or, next week if he does start against the 49ers, or, the Bengals, or anyone else that has a lot more, talent on their roster, would this be the same case? You don't know. But I think this type of game gives him a lot of confidence and really can help him moving forward. And also the team believing in him, right? Like, we don't really know what those internal conversations are like. They might be like, listen, Shedeur, like, he showed a lot. We gave him a lot of respect,
I think the bright lights, too, of Las Vegas, the glitz and the glam of Sin City, I think it was the perfect backdrop for him to go out. I know we have some post-game sound from him, too. I don't know if you wanted to go ahead and go to that. But, I mean, this is a kid that's confident that he's the guy moving forward.
Yeah, let's hear from him right now.
I'm not going to lie, I felt very relaxed, very relaxed. And half of that comes from preparing, studying, and knowing I got God on my side. So throughout all that, I had no worries. I didn't feel nervous or anything before the game because, like, he took all my worries and everything away. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Coming up here before y'all, 6-7 months ago, I couldn't tell you I'll be here. God the only way I'm able to even get through everything, being able to see my family, that was important, and I'm happy that I was here to be able to witness it. But without God, nothing possible, honestly, and I mean that truly and dearly. And everybody starts different places, and like I say, just because I didn't get the summer reps, just because I wasn't in the best situation, for me to be prepared to go out there and execute, like, from a summer standpoint, that's how life is. Everybody's not in everybody's not in the best situation, but there's no excuse. You got to go out there and perform. Like, there's no choice, there's no question. Nobody cares if this was 1 week of prep. Who cares? So a lot of people want to see me fail, and it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. The thing is, I visualize everything during the week. The game was already played. So that's why I have confidence. That's why I'm able to talk how I talk, walk how I walk, do what I'm able to do, because the game was already mentally played already before we was out there. Then when you get out there, you confirm, what you watch, everything. And, then you got the guys in the right spots when you need them in the right spots for different situations. Then you're able to capitalize off them. So, like I said, it comes down to I'm thankful for the coaches, putting everybody in the spots. I'm thankful for the old linemen being able to take me under their wing, and be able to grow and build with them. And I'm thankful for the team, having my back throughout this whole period.
This will be one thing you can say, this young man is very confident, and like you said, Las Vegas, the bright lights suits him well. CBS telecast right before the game said, he was interviewed, and he said, what do you say to the coaches, players, teammates, and the fans? I'm the guy you're looking for, And then he went out, and it wasn't great. But I wrote this in the Panthers game, first preseason. He got to play because Pickett was injured and Gabriel. Most overanalyzed first preseason game in history. I said this would be probably the biggest overanalyzed. You're going to hear everything. He should be declared, the franchise, that kind of end all the way around on one game. I felt he would have a good game. I'm not ready to anoint him, but I want to see more. Just like I saw last week at the end of that Ravens game, that final drive made you want to see a little more, and I don't know how you can take him out when he's the first guy to lead a team to the win on the road. At least you can always make a switch back. I know that Gabriel was hurt, but, yeah, very confident. I thought he did well first time out.
Listen, that is the question that everybody wants to know. Is Shedeur Sanders going to be starting next week against the 49ers? We're going to talk a little bit of true and false question right after this break.
True, false question of the week. I'm taking on the honor second week in a row with no Mark Schwab here. Shedeur Sanders will be the starting quarterback for the Browns next week against the 49ers.
Yes, true.
Why so?
Well, if you want an explanation, I'm like, you already let the cat out of the bag by the injury. It's no fault to Dylan Gabriel, but now, even though it wasn't a perfect start, let's see what you have against the 49ers. You can't say that's a cupcake. That's one of the better defense in the league. See what he has rather than I know this doesn't factor into it, but when Kevin Stefanski said today he wasn't ready to name, that leaves the door open. He had intimated that Gabriel was the starting quarterback. And I think it would be unfair to Gabriel to throw him back out there next week because he's going to get booed because everybody wants to see more of Sanders, in my opinion. And you can let Sanders play, you got the 49ers and then the Titans. And if it isn't going well, go back to Gabriel. But see what he's got here. Give him a couple more games, get his sea legs like you gave 6 or 7 to Gabriel.
Okay, let me make sure. The question is true or
Shedeur
false.
Sanders will start
be
next
starting.
week
Okay.
against the 49ers. True or false?
So,
if I can speak. Give me a true or false. Give me an answer.
I'm gonna go false, and I'm gonna just shake it up. And the reason why I'm going false, okay, and I say Fred because I'm looking dead at you.
Yeah, I see you.
Leah, you're there too. But no,
Catch me the animosity.
no, but I say that because okay, so Dylan didn't get pulled because he did anything wrong. He got pulled because he got a concussion, which we don't know when this concussion exactly happened. We know it happened at some point in the first, 2 quarters of that game. Then we didn't see him. Nobody can pinpoint when this concussion happened at all, right? But my thing is, because of that, I'm like, he really didn't lose his spot, right? So I'm thinking, okay, it's a concussion. Plenty of guys obviously come back from concussion. That is the main thing in football. But at the same time, while Shedeur did very well, Shedeur has not played 4 quarters against a tough defense at the same time. So if we're doing what's best for the team, you kind of have to see which one it is. And technically, we obviously have more of a sample size from Dylan than we do Shedeur. But here's my other thing. It really doesn't matter who gets the start. The start is just, a stat on the stat line. Dylan could start and Shedeur could play the rest of the game for all we know, or vice versa. So I feel like now from what we see moving forward, I still believe that they both should play. Granted, I'm still going to say false on it, but I do think that they both should play moving forward. I don't think you have to start or stop with just one. You get what I mean? Granted, we can't do first quarter Dylan, second, Shedeur, and go back and forth like that. But I don't see what the big deal is. Play both of them.
Kevin Stefanski doesn't like to switch quarterbacks either.
Well, Kevin Stefanski just doesn't have a choice.
I'm just saying, the year Baker was clearly hurt, he
Yeah.
would not go with Case Keenum week after week.
Look at Deshaun Watson, too, how long they stuck
Exactly.
with him
And
before
we
he
haven't even
got
brought
hurt.
that in the whole way.
Exactly.
If the window opened.
And so I just feel like I can see the point of him going right back to Gabriel. I just feel like at this time now, the right move would be, you got a little momentum. You won a game. You lost today. You won a game. Let's see what you can do again. I'm not comparing it all, but on the injury thing, if I remember right, Drew Bledsoe got injured, and they put a guy named Tom Brady in, and he never played again. And
Who's that guy?
even back in baseball, there was a guy named Wally Pipp who was playing first base for the New York Yankees. He got hurt. A guy named Lou Gehrig stepped in. He never missed a game, and he set the record until Cal Ripken came on. So I'm not comparing, but I'm just saying in professional sports, injury is a factor. No
Opportunity.
fault to Dylan Gabriel, and he's going to get another opportunity probably this year, even if Sanders plays. You don't wish injury, but with the Browns, it always seems like a quarterback gets dinged up here or there.
It's honestly a hard one. I don't know, because I think looking at this franchise, like you had mentioned, Kevin Stefanski, them not liking to move on from quarterbacks, I would say it's going to make sense. What's going to happen is they're going to put Dylan Gabriel back out there because Shedeur was a placeholder while you're waiting for Dylan to get cleared from concussion protocol. They have chosen Dylan as their guy, and so this is what they're going to do. Do I think that's what they should do? No. I think Shedeur showed, while it's been a small sample size and he wasn't incredible, he showed some real flashes of potential of what this offense could be, and that has been the biggest spark that I have seen with this offense, so I feel like you should kind of ride that hot streak. Will they? I don't know. I feel like no, because they never do what we want them to do.
You're so right, though. He really did show what this offense could be, right? And you were saying it too, Fred. I mean, wow. I forgot what it's like to watch the ball
Jameis Winston today
go down the field.
Just like last year.
Yeah.
300 and some yards.
Yeah.
He's just firing it all over the place.
Well, they always tend to do very well when they leave Cleveland.
That's what happens.
For what we've seen.
He did that when he was playing, though. He just threw
he did.
interceptions.
Yeah. Well, he did ask to be
sixes.
delivered from pick sixes. It sounded like he was delivered, so shout out to
Still
the Lord.
interceptions, just hasn't had a pick six, I don't believe, since that. Yeah.
If you ask the Lord will
Answers
give it to you.
prayers.
But like I said, it's just crazy. You forget what it's like to see the ball go down the field, and it's cool because you're not like, why did he throw that? Of course, he has some passes like that, but for the most part, I mean, that pass to Isaiah Bond was so hype. Like, we were screaming in the office, like,
Myles Garrett's face was like,
yeah, like, and I think the team has not seen that in so long, right? That it's good to see it. So, it's going to be really interesting. And as we know, Stefanski's not giving anything away until Wednesday. So let's just quit asking him.
We don't even
need to ask him on
Dylan's
Zoom.
cleared.
We don't even nothing.
Yeah, he practiced Friday.
He's gonna.
I'm sure he's close.
Yeah,
or he
right.
wouldn't have practiced. So I expect that he'll be cleared Monday or Tuesday. I don't think Stefanski will say that
for
until
sure.
Wednesday. Yeah. But
He loves it good to keep people in suspense.
They will have a meeting with the ownership and the general manager, and they'll all make their pitch on what they think, and it'll be a group decision. I'm just saying, after today, on the road, everything, I think you just keep – I mean, you've had little to build on this year, and here's something to build on. You can always go back if you have a bad game. You go, okay, now we're going back the other way. But, all things – when you look at it, you had the three longest pass plays of the season today. And last week he showed a little bit. He got a week of rest. So he thrown the ball downfield, and that's
the thing. You get to see what he looks like, and that's just with a week of practice.
He'll get more and more
What happens if there's 2 weeks of practice?
And you don't have the greatest wide receivers. We've talked about
well,
this.
Shout out to Jerry Jeudy. He has 8 drops on the year, and
that
he
was
is
a big drop
leading.
today
Well,
that didn't count as a drop.
Right.
Yeah.
And he stopped running thinking he could juke him and loses the ball.
Totally just forgot
that took
about
points
Chin.
off the board.
Totally forgot. Yeah, that was an incredibly bad play. Just watching it, you're like, what? No, what? Like,
it was such a roller coster because at first you were like, oh my gosh, like that was a great,
go
that was like a great catch, and
like,
and then seconds later you're like, okay.
And Fred, this is where it will be hard to watch him in the locker room this Wednesday because it was an awful presser last week. Minute 30 said maybe a total of 10 words.
I just skipped
now.
him.
Yeah.
We
now
don't
this
need
week there's no telling what he is going to say. But we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Off the Leash. All right, so again, Raiders losing to the Browns 24-10. They're picking up their 3rd win of the season. There is a chance that they can get to 4.
Surpass last season.
And also, before we get to looking ahead on the schedule, really quickly, shout out to Myles Garrett because the way that this man plays is incredible. He is truly, gosh, he's just like poetry in motion, like just.
The all-time NFL sack leader is only 4.5 away.
We do have a little bit of post-game sound from him talking about that, too, and setting a new single-season record for himself today.
Yeah, let's hear from him.
Opportunities you live for, getting a lead early, being able to, stop the run almost completely, with the guy who's going to be very special here soon. And just making them predictable, being able to just pin your ears back and hunt. We live for moments like that, and I'm so proud of, how they rushed and, it's putting together a historic day for us. Man, it feels good. It feels real good. It felt better to see all my guys. I feel like each of them got a sack. I feel like Mace kind of got he got screwed over on one. I think he had one, but it went to someone else or something happened. But, it felt like all the guys were winning the rush and doing their thing. So that's the thing I'm most excited about. That's what put a smile on my face. Being able to have the franchise record, I kind of expect that of myself. I'll continue to set the bar higher and higher. And I feel like I had an angel watching over me today. I mean, I pass big on. So, chasing Mike, chasing greatness, and, if God wills it, I'll go get it. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I don't try to, delay this thing, but I want it to come in a win. I want to have a chance to, play some games in January and February. So, we got to win out. I hope some things go our way. But, it would be great. But, we have a lot bigger and more pressing things to deal with. Yeah, that's a hell of a month, hell of a last 4 games. I don't even think about it. I'm just thinking about the next one, how we can put it all together and do it again, and hopefully I'll sit down and take a moment to be with my family. They can help me rationalize and see it for what it is. But now I can't tell you how much I'm really just proud of this team, how we responded.
Myles Garrett, the best to ever do it, and I'm already going to say that now. Okay, looking ahead, the Browns are going to be taking on the San Francisco 49ers at home. They're currently 7-4. They're playing Monday Night Football against the Carolina Panthers. Fred, what we thinking?
Well, I think this is a good test. You want to see, can the Browns do what they called in Major League, get a winning streak, win 2 in a row? We don't even know what that is. And this is a formidable team. And then they have the Titans. So put all your eggs into this basket and see what you can do and where you stack up. Like what Garrett's talking about, building momentum. They have had no momentum. Every time they mostly stop, get it going, see what you can do. And then you got the Titans coming in. You got a 2-game home stand. See, put it together again. Anything can happen, You want to be playing your best in the second half and not just limping down and finishing the season out. You want to feel like there's something to build on. You got a lot of young guys, so the future looks bright heading into the offseason. You feel like you got a great defense. You can put all your attention to get the offense fixed.
And like we talked about, momentum is so important right now if you want to string together some of those wins. So I think that's why you need to stick with Shedeur. I feel like you take a step back in that momentum if you do put Gabriel back out there. At least from an outside perspective, it feels like that. It feels like watching this team, they have a lot of momentum with Shedeur, and you want to ride that energy. And the energy that just he brings himself.
Yeah, I mean, you already saw the Haslams was there. Well, Jim was there. And then you had Andrew Berry was there. I mean, I think they were liking what they saw. I think they were out there.
Deion was there.
Man, shout out to Deion Sanders. Like, we all knew that Deion Sanders was going to be there, but I get that he didn't. He was like, I don't know if we're going to be there, if I'm going to be there or whatnot. He was there. Bucky was there. Shout out to them. I think it's amazing that, I think that for any rookie, right, or anybody making their first NFL start, that their family, friends, and whatever, that they get to see them make that type of, performance and feel all the love, see all the 12s in the, the arena and all that, or the stadium and whatnot. So, hey, what more can we ask for, right, Fred?
That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really one glaring mistake. He threw it right into 3 defenders, but it was great overall, I think. Something to build on.
Hey, who doesn't throw into a couple defenders sometimes?
Every now and then.
Sometimes you just got to do
That's
it, right?
Par
But
for the course
But again, we're going to wrap it up here on Off the Leash for Ashley Holder, Leah Doherty, and Fred Greetham. The Browns taking down the Raiders 24-10.